Well, hello there, Meow Mentors. It's Cat Lady Justin. This is the Kitty Boss, where we pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. So today I have a very special guest, and I apologize for the slight delay in getting started. We had some technical difficulties, so let's just not worry about it and focus on our very special guest, whose name is Pam Webster, and she is known as our famous Crocheting Cat Behaviorist. Now, that might raise some questions. What do those two have in common? Well, let's find out together what they have in common. So let's welcome our friend Pam. She's also, we have to say, if you're on here, send her the thanks because she is a wonderful supporter of the Kitty Boss, one of our best. So live from Utah, here's Pam Webster, the crocheting or crocheting, I'm not sure, cat behavior.
Hi.
I think it depends where you're from. So welcome to the show, Pam, and thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's a real pleasure to have you here. So your audio isn't the best, but we will forgive that because we're here and we can hear you. So let's focus on the good stuff, like the crocheting and the cats and the behaviorism and all that good stuff. So let's start from the very beginning, actually, because I am curious. I kind of mentioned it in the intro. What's the connection between crochet and cats? I tried crocheting a few times. I'm no good at it. I can't do it. It's a talent. But then so what's the connection? We love cats. We love crochet. Is that it?
Pretty much. And my cats just love everything I make, and they try to claim everything.
And so let me get this straight. So you also sell the stuff that you crochet. So it's not just something that you make for your cats. You make it for your clients' cats or your customers' cats, depending on whether they're behaviorist clients or whether they're actually just buying stuff for the crocheting.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what kind of stuff are you making for the cats?
Well, I make cat calming blankets. There's a few behind me. And just mostly it's that to help them just kind of just calm, get their own space. And I make a whole bunch for the rescue I work with, Kitty Crusade. And all the ones that I work with, when they get adopted, they get a blanket to go home with them.
Oh, that's really cool. So what makes these blankets calming? Because everybody knows cats love to play with like a ball of yarn, even though it's not the safest thing for them because they can swallow it and have some difficulty.
Yeah,
but they love the yarn.
Carefully while I'm making it. So, but
yeah,
I think it's probably just the softness that they love, and there's certain colors that they're just like, I want to cuddle this one right here, right now.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was going to ask you is I noticed you have a color thing going on there because I know I do this, by the way, because I mean that's one of the reasons I wear this blue and yellow because those are my sort of special color thingies. And then there's other people who do like naturally cats. Another friend of ours of our community who does certain color therapy. So she has, I think swaths of cloth or a towel or something where it's a very special, significant color for that cat, that individual cat. And so is that a specific technique that you employ, or is it just by intuition, or how do you choose a color for the cat?
Well, some of it is just what looks good together. And I am actually working on a color therapy pack so that it can be just spread these everywhere, see what color they want and need, and just play it by ear of what they want.
That's great because I do know that, like, for example, one of our good friends says that, you let the cat choose the herb or the color or whatever. So that's great. And I, of course, have my own, secret formula that I use that I actually didn't invent, that I actually learned this secret formula from a very, very famous and renowned astrologer of all things. She has this formula for devising the colors and a lengthy explanation. I mean, we could do a whole show on it, so I'm not going to go into details, but it's a formula, and you calculate it and you look at this and the charts and the this and that, and then you come up with the colors. And it works for humans or animals, or it doesn't matter. As long as you know the birthday, you have to know the birthday. And that aligns everything. And so oddly enough, by coincidence, I and my two cats, both of them, even though we're not born I'm an April birthday, Emily is May, and Charlotte is September. So we're not even the same sign, if you will, but we all have the same colors. So that's convenient and cool. And then So that's how I do it. So I was wondering whether you have a specific like thing about that. So so that's cool. And then I noticed on your website you also have human blankets. Like so you have something available for people if they want. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what is that? Same
Well, the
blanket
one
as for
that's behind
cats?
me is it's a bunch of just the cat blankets all put together, and it can either be like a lap size blanket or even a bed size blanket, and they're so warm and big and comfortable.
Just big. And you
Oh
use
yeah.
yarn, use wool yarn, is that right?
It's just acrylic yarn.
Acrylic yarn. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not
That way it's not
necessarily
super
wool.
duper hot, but it's still soft and
Still soft and nice, and people do that. So
mhm.
you have those blankets and the cats, and do they always have the patterns on them? Like, because I noticed you have certain patterns.
Not always. Like with the color therapy that I'm doing, it's just that color on each of
Unicolor.
the blankets.
Like, let's say,
But
for example, because my colors are I actually have some people have one, some people have two,
mhm,
some people have three, but that's rare. For at least for my methodology, my cats and me both have two each, same
mhm.
two. Is that possible to do for a color therapy blanket?
I mean, you could, because I mean, I've got one. I'm thinking of doing just like a rainbow one of here's a whole variety of things because I have my cats just love the rainbow ones, so it's just
Yeah,
like
why not?
okay,
But could
yeah,
you do a one of two? Like, let's say, like, do you take orders like that? Like, say, oh, could you crochet me a
hmm,
specific one for me and my cats, and have it just be these two colors and nothing
yeah,
else?
and then just have it being just like those colors alternated through a striping. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah, I do those with
cool.
my Harry Potter ones.
I love Harry Potter too. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
that kind of podcast, but I do like my Harry Potter. I got some wands over here, and
yoo-hoo!
anyway, but that's we could do a whole show on that too, couldn't we?
Yeah.
So so there you go. And so what was I gonna add? I forgot because I'm thinking about Harry Potter, and the video game has the video game, the Hogwarts Legacy actually has cats in it, you know that? And you can go and you can
Yes,
pet them. What a great game,
I
just because of
know.
that. No other things too. So so with regards to this, oh, I see we have people watching. That's cool. So I wanted to, before we continue, because we'll have lots more to talk about, I want to give people a chance to find out more about you. And like I said, we had some technical difficulties. I didn't get a chance to check everything with you, but I'm assuming I got this right because I went to this website. It's your website, the crochetingcatbehaviorist.com. And I'll spell it because, most people, to be honest, will be listening to this at a later time on the podcast when I upload it, as opposed to watching it. So, but although we do have some people who watch it, the majority of my meow mentors are listeners. So we have the Crocheting Cat Behaviorist, which is THE, crocheting, CROCHETINGCAT, See, I already made a mistake. BEHAVIORAIST.com. The Crocheting Cat Behaviorist.com. Or message Cat Lady Justin and we will get you the link. No problem. No problem. But you can also, of course, follow the Crocheting Cat Behaviorist. You can't miss her. The logo is a cat, and and we are, of course, connected on all of social media, so we can always follow each other and exchange links that way as well. If you missed it, because it is long and I did stutter, so I apologize for that. But I did want to give people a chance to go and check you out because there's a lot of stuff offered there. So okay, we've talked quite a bit about the crocheting side of things. How did you get into crocheting, first of all?
Actually, I was taught when I was 8 years old,
So you've been
and I've
doing this
just
for a
been
while. Yeah.
going.
I mean,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm not gonna go there, but I'm not sure
Many
how long that is.
moons.
Because that could be, a decade, 2 decades, maybe more. I don't know. I'm just saying it's been a while because you're obviously not 8 and you're not a teenager. That's all I'll leave it at that, right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm not a teenager either. I
It's true.
remember
Rub it
the
in.
80s. This scares a lot of people when I say that because I remember the 80s. I'm old enough
When you
to
grow up in the
remember
80s, you know.
80s. I was not a baby in the 80s. I was a kid, not a
I
baby in the
was.
80s. The 70s I don't remember because I was a baby in the 70s,
Yeah.
but the 80s I remember. So that's scary thought. although the 80s, that was a good day. I mean, do you know what? We always look at it back nostalgically and we say how great it was, but in reality, there was a lot of stuff that sucked in the world. I mean, we were terrified of the Soviet Union nuking us. There was
I
a
don't
lot of
remember
stuff.
that, but I
Yeah,
was
I
way too
do. I
young.
remember we'd even have drills. I remember in school we'd even have drills,
Wow.
hide under the desk, like that's going to do any good. But we still had the drills and all that. And
Huh.
it was just anyway, it was great in a lot of ways, but we forget that there was still a lot of stressors in the world. So maybe there weren't this particular one over there.
Mhm.
Although they all seem to come from the east. I don't know what's wrong over there, but they all seem to come from the eastern side. But we had the Soviets at the time, and now we have someone else threatening us. So there always seems to be something going on there. So it wasn't like a utopia, it wasn't like this. But there was a lot of great things. I mean, one of the best things about it is there was no internet. So it was like you didn't have to worry about all that stuff that you have to worry about now, and influencers and all this
Mhm.
weird
Mhm.
thing, and maybe all those fake influencers out there who are endorsing a product, but really it's arsenic or it's
Yeah.
poison. And I could go on for hours, but it was nice not to have that in there. It was also very nice to be able to do a whole bunch of goofy things and not have no evidence. There's no evidence, there's no trail, there's no online, no one's going to catch you.
Yeah.
You said it. Well, it's your word against mine. Now, screenshot, there you go. There were no smartphones. Your
Yeah.
mobile phone was this big, in the 90s, but in the 80s, forget it. There was nothing. Maybe a
Mm-mm.
car phone, but it was the size of so there was nothing. There was none of that trail to follow you around like
No
death.
evidence.
These days, you can't get away with nothing.
I don't
Nothing
know.
goofy. But anyway, so you've been crocheting for a while, and that's
Mhm.
great. And how long have you been a behaviorist? Like, when did you get into behavior? I'm assuming you've loved cats your whole life, because that's
Oh,
how
yeah.
all of us
I've
tend
had a
to be.
cat my entire life, so
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Well,
people who are in the profession of cats,
yeah.
behaviorists and people like me and you and
Mhm.
Dr. Rachel Geller and people who create products for cats, generally are lifelong cat lovers. The people who fall in love with cats later in life tend to not do that as a
Mhm.
profession. So,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming it's your whole life, like me.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
that's great. But when did you start doing the behaviorist as a profession, like as selling your services as a cat behaviorist?
Right. Well, for that part, I only graduated about a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
but it started back in high school. I took a vet tech course, and so once I had graduated from high school, I was a full-fledged vet tech.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And so just didn't last very long. Things happen. You get your mouth ripped open. It's kind of just okay, I'm done. So,
Yeah, I would say so. I would be. And then as far as this combination goes, what made you decide that they go together? Is it just that you love both things, or is there a deeper reason? Like I think you mentioned, the cats love the blankets, they like the
mhm.
color, so you realize there is something there that you
Yeah,
can
there's
combine
definitely a
these two
connection.
passions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, it just all the time I would be sitting and working on crocheting something. One of my cats would have to join me. It's just like, you know what?
Hmm.
How about I start making you your own things? So I did, and they absolutely love them. And they still have to cuddle with me while I'm making them, and on them, next to them, under them. So they know they just love the connection that there is between us, just that bond we've got
Hmm.
of just it's a crochet cuddle time. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
And then so you have the blankets.
Hmm.
Are there any other products that you make? Do you make like scarves and hats and stuff for kitty
Oh,
cats?
oh, I do all sorts of stuff. I mean, I have designed for over the years. I have done stuff for my daughters, and a lot of the pictures you see on my post where it's the cats cuddling the stuffed animals. It's those that I've done over the years,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're just claiming them. It's just like this is comfy. I want to cuddle with it. Okay, I doubt
So
she
it's
cares. Go for it.
oh, that's cool. So you make stuff for people too then, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, none of the stuffed animals are on the website yet, but
Mhm.
I'm thinking of doing like some kind of stuffed animals, like with have a hole of some sort. You can put like some of those calming herbs or whatever
Mhm.
inside, and they can cuddle with that and breathe those in. I just haven't
All
gotten that
right.
far yet.
Right. So you're in the process of generating more
Oh
products and
yeah, oh
expanding
yeah.
the
I'm
product
I'm
line.
doing all sorts of stuff actually.
So there's crocheted products for people, for
Hmm.
cats, There's also the potential to contact you and get something made, custom made, or as we
Yes.
say in the UK,
Yes.
bespoke. Don't know why it's called that, but there's I live here, even though I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
mostly in
Whatever.
America with American audience, so they say bespoke. I had to get used to that because it seems like an odd word. I should look it up one day and find the derivation of the word. But
Yeah.
bespoke is what we say here. But you can do that, and you can do custom stuff. And do you and how long roughly? So if someone goes to your website now and
Hmm.
puts in an order, about how long does it take?
As long as I've got the yarn they're wanting for the color and everything, and as long as I've got the time, I can get
Yeah.
something depending on what it is. Because if it's just one of the cat blankets, I can get those done in roughly about a day and a half, and then
Mhm.
just send it off to wherever it needs to go.
And where do you ship to? Everywhere in the world, or just the USA? Or
It should be everywhere in the world. I hope
Mhm.
it's properly set up for that.
Maybe I should test it because I'm over here in the UK, so I should put it in
Exactly. It's just
order and
like,
be
well,
like,
supposedly
"Can
it
you ship to
is.
me?" And then I'll let you know. Actually, your website. But
Yeah.
okay, that's good to know. That's good to know because that's a really important thing. Plus, because I'm thinking of getting that thing I mentioned to you, the blanket with just the two colors. It's more like a therapy blanket as opposed to
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
one with the cute kitties on it, because that's great too. But I'm thinking more of just a therapy blanket that the cats
Exactly.
actually. And I would only want one because my hope with it is that the
It's
cats
a little cuddle together, hopefully.
that can share with it. They can
Hmm.
share it, like the scent of one, the scent of the other, maybe some catnip, maybe some one of those pheromone calming things, and just the combination of persuasion and tactics and and
Exactly.
all that manipulation. I might get the cats to actually coincide on it because they don't hate each other, but they don't cuddle, they don't, and it's more
You're
of a
just my
tolerance.
roommate.
Yeah, they sometimes will lick each other and all that, but never.
Mhm.
I want them to like cuddle, which is because that's always cute to see two cats like that, and then I can bury
Yeah.
myself in between them. So I'm thinking of doing that. So I might be a good sort of test subject for that
Okay.
stuff. So anyway, but so I'm in the UK, and I'll let you know how ordering goes
Okay.
internationally. So we have crochet, we have behaviorist cats. So can you show us? I see them behind you. But can you show us maybe one of the, because I
One of
know
the
the one behind
blankets,
you is large, but do you have one like handy next to you?
kind of.
Okay. Yeah, because it'd be nice to see one.
Eh,
There we go.
there we
So
go.
that's a cat blanket. Yeah, therapy
Yeah, that
blanket.
is cat size.
Yeah, so for someone who does not like me, because I know my cat's colors, for
Hmm.
someone who doesn't know like that, and we said let the cat choose. Well, you can't send me a dozen blankets and let the cat. You can only send really
Oh,
one.
yeah, get a
So
bit
how would we
pricey.
go about doing that? How
Well,
would you
I mean,
suggest?
you could just start out with like just a simple color therapy with maybe just doing like some colored towels all over the place, and you can see what they want to go to. And if
Okay.
they seem to go to one more than another, that would be the best one for them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so just so it's no big deal.
Mm-mm.
You don't need to order a dozen blankets from,
No.
well, you can do from Pam because
Yeah, you can.
that'd be that'd be nice for her. But what you can do is, set up some towels, unicolor towels, if you will, or sheets, I suppose, like
Yeah,
anything like
just
a bed
anything.
sheet,
Even just a piece of
anything that's
paper.
one color that's, a blue, a red, a green, a
Hmm.
yellow, whatever, and just let the cat, explore. And you might be like, oh gosh, then I'll have to wash all those sheets. I mean, not really. Cats are cleaner than people, so you don't really need to, but whatever. So just set them up and you can do an experiment that way, and then you'll see where the cat gravitates towards, and you can be
Hmm.
like, oh, that's the colors. I mean, the other thing you can do, of course, is contact me and have me, do your cat's colors based on the birthday, and then you'll know what their colors are in that particular way if you're interested in that. But that's
Hmm.
not a free solution, whereas Pam's solution of just throwing those things out is totally free. So it's ideal because you don't need to worry about paying someone to do this,
Hmm.
complicated consultation with you. You can just have a few free, just use a few towels, a few sheets, whatever you got around the house, and see which ones the cats choose. So that's probably the best solution. But of course, if you have an unlimited budget, if you
Yeah.
happen to be watching this and you're a celebrity, absolutely contact me. You'll if you're willing to pay the price, I'll give you the mice, and I'll give you the colors that your kitty cats have, and I'll do the whole math and calculation and everything. But you have to know the birthday of the cat. If you don't know, if it's adopted and for some reason you don't know when their birthdays, then it won't. There's no way to do it. You must know their birthday. So So that's it. So there you go. So that's actually pretty cool, because that's a way around that if people don't know yet. And then if they and what kind of behavioral problems do you help in, or do you specialize in a specific? I noticed surrender prevention is a very big topic now.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
saw, what did I see the other day? I saw the other day somebody posting something, and it was a good news story, because there's a cat who found a loving forever home. However, they ended up at the vet because this poor kitty cat, beautiful, gorgeous Himalayan thing, ended up at the vet, and the owner wanted to euthanize it because it was peeing outside the litter box.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, meanwhile, what ended up happening is the story is the vet found, well, it just had some crystals in the urine. It was
Mm-hmm.
just having urinary tract problems, and just needed a little tweak in the diet, and the problem is done and solved. And the owner wanted to euthanize this absolutely stunning cat, so the vet, luckily convinced the owner to just sign it over to the vet. The vet took charge, gave it to the assigned it to the shelter. They found a home for it, of course, immediately, because it's a stunning animal.
Oh yeah,
And now it has a forever home, and
good.
so it's it's probably. But I like couldn't believe it. Like, you really, somebody's gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask to forget surrendering. They were gonna have it euthanized. They were gonna like kill the thing because it peed outside the litter box. Good heavens!
Yeah, there's a reason, people.
That's why I say I love people, but I love cats. I like people, but I love cats. I like
Exactly,
cats.
exactly.
Why would you do that? But some people are insane. And so
Yeah.
there is no mercy for this individual. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but you're not my customer. We're not friends. I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate anybody. I love you, but I don't like you, because I love all humanity.
Let's just be our mascot. I'm surrounded by idiots.
That's why I say I love all people. So I love you, but I don't like you.
Yeah.
I won't be around you. I think you should be in jail. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So so what kind of behavior problems do you work with?
Well, for one, the biggest issue is going outside the litter box.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say, first and foremost, make sure there's nothing going on.
Medically, like veterinarily.
Yes, because it could be, if they're just peeing outside the box, they could be either blocked, could have a UTI. Something's wrong. Just like I've got a Maine Coon where he does go outside of the box, and he's got pancreatitis. So just working hard through that with him, and we know he's in pain.
Yeah.
So we just try and work with it the best we can, and help him
also
get his debts.
Make sure that hygiene, because let's face it, some people don't really clean the litter box enough.
Yes.
And the evidence of that is the abundance of like these wild solutions, technical solutions, or high-tech litter boxes that, and I've seen things, and I'm like, I looked at once, it looked beautiful. It's huge, by the way. I'm like, who has room for this thing? But of course, if you have a giant mansion, you have room for it. But it was just, and it was like $700 to $800. So some people will spend $800 on a damn litter box, all because they don't want to clean the thing, right? So we know that some people, I mean, save your money. Talk to Pam. Get a blanket from her. Get some behaviorism for anyway. But they just don't want to clean. So we need to make, first and foremost, the medical thing. But also, before you run to the vet and spend money on a vet, are you actually cleaning the thing enough?
Exactly.
Because I know my Charlotte is extremely fastidious. So unlike Emily, who never goes outside the litter box, if ever she goes outside the litter box, I'm calling the vet right away, because she's never done it. Charlotte, on the other hand, she'll go in the litter box once when it's fresh, once, twice, maybe 3 times. And then after that, she goes beside the litter box. Never pee. She'll always pee in the litter box. But the poo, she refuses to go in there. She just goes next to it.
Yeah.
And I know it's because it's too dirty for her. Now, I clean it every day, but I refuse to change the litter box and put fresh litter every day. I can't afford to do that. That's like a fresh, and to throw away all that litter. So I clean it I clean it more than once a day. I clean it immediately after they go. But once a day is probably the absolute minimum you should be doing. But my Charlotte is fastidious, so she won't go in there, after like a day or two. Then after that, she waits till the new week and the new litter, and then she'll go in it again.
Yeah.
I know my Charlotte. So if she goes outside, it's not a huge deal. If there's pee-pee outside, then I know it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But that because she never does that, no matter how dirty the litter box is. But the first and foremost is check the
Yes.
medical,
Check the litter, make sure you're cleaning it,
but also make
and
sure it's
possibility,
clean.
maybe you need another litter box.
Maybe you need another one. Yeah, maybe you need
Mhm.
2,
Mhm.
I have 3 because I have 2 cats. I have 3 litter boxes.
Exactly.
But, some people some
I
people don't have
know,
that
I
many.
know.
So, some people don't have that luxury. They might not have that space, but that's okay. Just check and see. Is it clean?
Mhm.
And are you,
And is it a
practicing
litter
good
they're
hygiene?
actually using?
And then medical. So
Yeah.
that's good. So that's the number one problem you've noticed with your clients.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how do clients get a hold of you if they need the behavioral? Because obviously your website will have the products on there if they're interested in
Mhm.
a blanket. And if they're interested in the behavioral, is that the same thing? They go to the
Yeah, it's on
website,
there.
contact and all that?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep, it's
great.
all there. Or
So
you can
that's
just,
great. So let's
message
pull
me
this.
through Instagram or Facebook, whatever. I'm on
Yeah.
both.
Okay, great. So let's pull that up again so that we can show everybody that Pam's website is the crocheting cat behaviorist.com. CrochetingCatBehaviorist.com. The Crocheting Cat Behaviorist.com. So for everyone watching, go there, check it out. And also, read a little bit more about Pam's story and everything, because there's a lot of really fun stuff there. And of course, follow her on social media and the adventures that she has, because that's fun too. And if you need behavioral intervention with your cat, do you offer? Because I believe you're based in Utah. Is that
Mhm.
right? You're live. You're coming us live from Utah. So you offer face-to-face consultation if someone is, let's say, local to you. Is that possible?
Yeah, I just do everything online.
You do it all online. Okay.
Mhm.
So you don't actually you won't actually, if someone is, let's say, in Utah or in a town near you, because I know Utah's big. So
Yeah,
if someone
'cause it's
is
just figure,
next,
I'll just have it just go wherever. I mean, this way we
okay.
can just do, give me videos, we can do a Zoom, whatever, so we
Right.
can
Okay.
see
So
what's going on.
regardless of where you are, it'll be an online consultation, and
Mhm.
so it can be for anywhere in the world. And I'm assuming it's English speaking, right? You don't
Yes.
speak other languages, so it's going to have to be in the English speaking part of the world. But cats are cats, so it won't matter whether you're in Australia, New Zealand, England, the United Kingdom, Scotland, United States, Canada, anywhere where you speak English, it'll be fine, because Pam speaks English. But because I speak a bunch of languages, so I could help in many different languages. But English is also very large, so it doesn't matter. And cats speak meow.
Mhm.
so so anywhere is that. And is there anything you'd like to say to people watching? Is there a message you'd like to give in terms of cats or their behavior or crocheting, or is there something you'd like to share today?
Uh, I will say this, I am very much working on expanding more
Mhm.
and focusing on keeping cats calm, and
Oh,
there's
right.
more to come. So just
Calm. So
like I
hence the
said, I'm just doing
calming.
all sorts of things because that seems to be the biggest issue I'm seeing is stressed cats, and just
Yeah.
let's let's see what we need to do. Do we need to do this and this and this or whatever?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm working on it.
And stressed cats is a challenge because cats will pick up on our energy. So if people
Yes,
are stressed, and of course
yes,
these days a
and I'm
lot of
also working
people
on
are
that too.
stressed with the stuff going on in the world, and of course there was
Mhm,
the pandemic we're now out of, but it was recent. So all these things going on will stress us out, and
mhm.
the cats will pick up on that because
They're
cats,
sponges.
so that's probably why you're seeing a lot of stressed cats, because there's a lot of stressed people. But the
Yeah.
good news is that there is a solution, and that cats can help you as a human with your stress. The purr has
Mhm.
been
The whole
shown
kitty
to
therapy
reduce,
thing.
yeah, can reduce cortisol levels and make you a lot calmer.
Mhm,
So cats will help you with your stress, but if you help them with their stress, and all you got to do is maybe a little blanket, a little therapy, a little behaviorist session to work out a few strategies. And cats are very individual animals. I always like to say I like dogs too. I'm not a gay. I'm not an anti-dog person, but dogs are
mhm.
very much a little bit of a cookie cutter thing. So you can very easily say, most dogs, boom, and you can have very very set advices for people with dogs. They're probably easier to handle in that sense. You have each breed. They're very almost cookie cutter uniform in their behavior and their attitudes and all that. Whereas cats are a lot more nuanced than that. They're a lot more
Yeah.
individuals like people. So there are some very, very broad strokes that you can say about certain breeds and things like that, but they're very broad and they're very generalized, and they're not always, they're not like 90%. They're maybe 70, 80%. And when it comes to all feline, all cathood, all of
Yeah.
cats, I mean, you can say maybe 40, 50% accuracy maximum is the cats are like this. That's why it's very difficult to write a book about cats
Mhm.
that's specific and that gives specific advices and techniques, because cats are just so diverse in their behavior.
Yeah.
They're like people. You can't say, oh, well, most people, you know, well, there are, of course, some very, very broad strokes that most humans have. For example, you can say most humans are basically good inside, and they have. Are there the sociopaths without the conscience? Yes. Are there the nasties out there? Absolutely. But in general, most people want to be good, and inside they're good, and when their head hits the pillow at night, they can't sleep if they've done something wrong, and so they have to take whatever substances are out there. Obviously, again, that doesn't go for your, psychopath who can sleep great at night after murdering a family. But I'm talking about most people are not like that, thank
Yeah.
God. And so you can have extremely broad strokes like that. But to get specific, that's tough to do and tough to categorize. Just like with, I said with cat breeds, it's the same with people. You can't say, most people from that part of the world, or most people, this race of people. You can't generalize like that. It's
Mm-mm.
people used to try to do that,
Yeah.
but it's almost nowadays become the brunt of a joke. Like you can make a joke about all these people or this, because you can't do that. People are just so diverse that you just can't generalize like that
Yeah.
unless it's used humorously. Then and cats are almost the same. Like you can
Yeah.
humorously say, "Oh yeah, cats are scratched." Then blah blah blah. Not
There's
all
a
cats,
reason.
and I always see those things, and I'm like, well, not my cats. Most of the
Yeah.
time, I'm like, my cats don't do that. People say, oh, cats are independent. Not mine. Mine are like puppies. They follow me around. They're constantly seeking my attention, calling for me. My
Where
goodness, they're
are
not.
you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not at all. So
Yeah.
it's just, I think that's it. And that's the reason why it's really important to engage with a cat behaviorist like Pam, because cats are so individual. It really does. She can give some advice to us, like we did today about, oh, it's going outside the litter box. Uh-oh, check the vet. If there's nothing going on here, make sure the hygiene's there. Anything more specific than that, she really needs to talk to you and see what's going on with you, your house, your situation, that kind of stuff. And it's really, really important to understand that, because otherwise people get a misconception about cats, and or they think they're so complicated that every cat is this thing from hell, like that other guy likes to talk about. And that's a really funny title and a great show, but it's just not true. Most cats
Mm-mm.
are not like that. Do those
Mm-mm.
kind of nasties exist? Of course they do, but people do too. You got psychopaths all over the place, but that's not most people. And same thing with
Yeah.
cats. That's not most cats. Most cats are lovely, nice creatures, and if they're not, then there's something going on with them, and Pam can
Mm-hmm.
help you fix that. So can other behaviorists, but Pam is here with that, and she also has the additional tool that works for the cat, which is the color therapy or calming blankets, or those
Or
therapy
both.
blankets. So you can use both, and you can use the behaviorist and the blankets, or one or the other, actually. Which that's because I, to be honest, my cats don't really have any problems, so I'm not going to spend money on a behaviorist. Plus, I'm pretty much an expert, but I don't crochet, so I'm going to get some blanket, like I said, and I have my plan in there of what I'm going to do with it. So I think that's why it's really important to engage with a behaviorist that can help specify the therapy, let's say, for you and your cat. It's not just your cat, right? It's you and your cat, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it is what we talked about earlier. Is the influence that you have on your cat is a large, large portion of it, if not the majority of it. So that's anyway, I'm done preaching. That's my sermon for the day. My feline sermon. I am Father Feline, or whatever. So Is there anything you'd care to say or ask, or before we end today's show? Because it's been brilliant to meet you, and I've really enjoyed that. Can't wait to get my hands on one of these blankies. So it's not going to be for me, I promise. Although
Are you sure?
although it could be, because to
Yeah,
be
you could.
honest with you, I have bought blankets like from TJ Maxx, or we call it here TK Maxx because it was a copyright issue ages ago when they came. They're um, and they always seem to go to the cats, and I very rarely ever get to use these blankets and throws and things that I buy for me. Like there's one that I bought years ago, probably seven years ago. Is the soft cotton, beautiful thing, so nice. It was for me. I haven't once used it. It's always been monopolized by one cat or the
Same.
other cat. They like do a tag team. They monopolize the thing, and
Mhm.
I let them. I let them. So this is gonna be for them, I promise. And so is there anything you'd like to say or ask before we end the show?
Not that I can think of.
Great. So, like I said, been lovely to meet you.
You too.
I hope we get to do a follow-up show, let's say, where because what I like to do is have a follow-up show, let's say in a couple months or something, and you can share with us some successes. You can share with us rather than talking about your story and history. It would be lovely to learn about some clients, and of course, if you have any actual stories to share, that would be good. And if not, you can anonymize them if you don't have their permission, because I do that.
Right.
If I don't have someone's permission to share, I don't mention names or any identifiable data. But I don't
Right.
usually make it up out of thin air. I don't make it up out of thin air, but I just kind of change the names and call someone, call Bruce, I call it, Samantha. I change everything so you can't identify what it is.
Bob.
Um, yeah, or Bob or John, John Smith. Everyone is John Smith, so or Jane Smith. But the problem is I actually know a Jane Smith. So if I say that, she might think I'm talking about her, and she likes
What did I
cats.
do?
Huh? So I'm like, no, 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 I'm not talking about you, Jane. So I tend to avoid that because
Mhm.
I know a Jane Smith, but you know what I mean. So we
Yeah.
can anonymize them. But it'd be nice to hear about some stories of clients that you have, or maybe after I get my blanket, we can then do a follow-up show where I can show it off. And I think that would be really fun to do if you want to. So
Or
Pam,
where
thank
we
you
got
again.
more of the progress of the whole expanding the calming or something.
Exactly, yeah. So again, Pam, been lovely to see you. I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone, and then
Okay.
so hold the line. I'll
Okay.
pull you out from the live, and then I'll come back and we'll have a quick chat afterwards. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So, guys, that was Pam Webster, the Crocheting Cat Behaviorist. Delightful person, really, really good behaviorist, but also has the crocheting stuff. So I'm really into that. I mean, I don't crochet because I'm horrible at it, but I'm really into the idea of getting a blanket made for me that's yellow and blue and the real colors that me and my cats need. That's just me. So anyway, thanks for joining us. It's the Kitty Boss. I'm Cat Lady Justin. We pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. Until next time, I'll see you real soon.